Good morning. It is Wednesday at about 8:45 in the morning, and I've not been able to get a devotion out to you recently because just ministry and life. So wanted to just talk a little bit about ministry. What does it mean to be a minister? What does it mean for us as guides? What does that look like? What did Jesus teach his disciples? First of all, what ministry looked like, and I have to go back and look at the New Testament and look at all the models of ministry that he showed. And the first and foremost is share the gospel, share the good news. And I say that like it's obvious, but it's not obvious. One of the things that I learned, and I have learned and continue to learn, is that we cannot assume that everybody knows Jesus Christ, has a relationship with Jesus Christ. And it should be a question that is asked anytime you're dealing with a man when the opportunity comes, that he knows what you're about, but that you also get the opportunity to ask him directly, hey, do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Because anything, that question defines your ministry to that man. That question defines what you're going to be. What's your ministry going to look like with that man, what that opportunity brings? Because I have learned that if you're talking to a man and you begin to share with him all the concepts, all the truths that we believe, then it's just going to come across to him as information or tips and techniques. If he's not a believer in Jesus Christ, if he doesn't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And I'm not talking about a man that says, yes, I grew up in the church and I've always been a Christian. That's not possible. I've always been a Christian. And so you need to get a clarification on that. I've done this many times where I've asked a man, okay, well, when was your conversion experience? Recently, I was on a fishing trip with a pastor, and he began to share his story about at 19 how he had a conversion. That's the language he used. And I asked him to explain that to me. He said, well, I was a lapsed Catholic. I went to an event where I met Jesus Christ and I had a conversion, completely conversion, came away changed man. That's the kind of testimonies we need to hear. Not, well, I've always been a Christian, I've always been in church, because that doesn't get it, guys. That doesn't cut it. I have a conversion story. You have a conversion story. I know when I came to know Jesus Christ, it was like, it's the birthday I remember. Okay, I remember that day. I remember my feelings. I remember the experience. I remember the realizing I was a sinner even at 7 years old. Realizing I didn't want to be separated from the man who died for me. I wanted to know who Jesus Christ was. And my life since then has been, different because I knew Jesus Christ. I knew, he's been in my life ever since. And so when we encounter men, we need to know. We need to know their conversion experience. How do they know Jesus Christ? So as you take this, as this devotion is, preach the gospel, speak the gospel, verify the gospel in a man's life, because you don't want to waste time with a man. Now, if you're witnessing and you are trying to win him to Christ, that's another ministry, right? That's witnessing. That's evangelism. That's okay. But that's what defines that opportunity when you know his story. You can evangelize once you know his story. And so it's really important to know, what's our ministry look like after the fact. Then you get to be a part of discipleship. Discipleship as a man. And this is where I think it's vital for us, is that it's a great opportunity, whether a new Christian or someone who's never heard the truth of what about a man looks like. And what does it mean to bear God's image? I think that's the most important thing to tell a man once he's become a Christian or once he's never heard, because he has no idea how to act and be as a man. He doesn't know how he represents and bears the image of God. And that's the other most important thing we can tell, because then everything flows from there. Everything flows from how he bears God's image, because he's free to act in the way God created him. So evangelism, yes, if he's not a Christian. Discipleship, yes. masculinity in that journey, what that looks like, then everything can flow from those places. And the things that you have to offer him, to tell him, to share with him, will make sense and line up with what's in his heart. So have a great day and God bless.